What's up, Highland? We're back. We got another exciting guest, a local business owner here who's taken things to pretty cool levels. So it's exciting. Steve Oravec from Apex Physical Therapy, or is it just Apex Network? Sorry, I should have
Apex Network Physical Therapy.
Okay. Network Physical Therapy. I knew it had all those words.
Yep.
Got to get them right.
Started out as just Apex, but as we've branched out and we franchised our concept, we created this network, and we wanted to make the brand protectable too. So we kind of created a word, Apex Network, that we could trademark. And so anyway, multiple reasons for doing it, but yes, and now it's what we go by is Apex Network Physical Therapy.
Okay, awesome. But lots to kind of uncover from how you guys started to where you're at now, and anything that might be coming up or that you guys are willing to might be able to share with the Highland community, and all the stuff that you guys have done for the community too. So
yeah, so
let's start with, how did this thing even get started?
So my partner Brad Fitzner and I went to high school together, played football together at Highland, graduated in 1990. Brad went on to Millikan to get his biology degree, and then went to WashU to get his occupational therapy degree. He then went to work for the Work Center, which was a therapy company that just did industrial rehab. So if you get hurt at work, construction worker or whatever, and you need to rehab, that's all they did was work comp stuff. So he worked there and branched out with a couple of the other guys that were owners of clinics there, and they started what was called Gateway Rehab, and they grew that to 4 clinics. And a couple of the guys in Gateway, they were older, ready to kind of cash out, not necessarily interested in rapid growth, and so Brad reached out to me. I had gone to Kansas State, got my engineering degree, and then had come back and had gone to WashU and got my MBA. We had kept in contact, and he kind of knew the therapy end of things, but needed a business guy to help on that end. And so in 2003, he split off from Gateway. They had grown that to 4 clinics, and he took 2 of them, which were Highland, the first place across from Rural King. It became TMCI Trucking years after that, and now I think
physical therapy out there.
I didn't know
really?
that.
Now I think Schmidt just owns
TMCI.
it for overflow of cars.
Yeah.
And so it was humble beginnings. There were 3 of us in an office, but anyway, we split that. He split off. We took Highland and had a hand clinic, certified hand therapy in Edwardsville, and formed Apex. That was in 2003. So, from there, it's just been kind of strategic, calculated growth, and we've branched out we're in 12 different states now, got upwards of 100 clinics. We do the full gamut of therapy, outpatient therapy like we do here in Highland. We manage full hospital therapy departments. We do therapy for rehab hospitals. We do therapy for orthopedic surgery practices, manage that for them. And so, we've just kind of grown over the years, and been blessed to have made more right moves than wrong. And, so that's enabled us to give back, which we think is important.
Yeah, before we go there, can we go way back to the beginning? I'm kind of curious to know a little bit more how you went from the process to going from that little spot across from Rural King to over 100 locations. I feel like there's more.
There's a whole lot there.
There's more to this story that I think would be cool to know. Is did you guys go, when you guys came together? What was the original vision that you guys had for therapy?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've always been, I mean, we're type A personality people, sort of perfectionists along the way, and very humble beginnings. Like I said, there were a couple offices in there, and there were 2 or 3 of us. You know, Brad and I shared an office about this size with our first marketing person that we hired. So we had 3 people in here, you know, in a room this size, and we just ground away. And basically, a lot of it was just from scratch. I mean, wrote our own policy and procedure manuals, and you know, all this different stuff, and just kept chipping away. Worked really hard, you know. And that's a piece of advice I always give my kids or people that we talk about, you know, doing business with. And you know this, you don't get into your own business to do less. I mean, if you think you're going to do less, you're mistaken.
That's the goal when you get in. It's not a reality.
No, that's not how it works out typically. You know, so we just kept our nose to the grindstone and worked really hard and took big risks. You know, I mean, we put everything we had on the line out of the gate. Didn't have much, so it wasn't, you know, that concerning, but worked really hard and started out, we could only afford to do one more facility. So, you know, we looked at Effingham, Illinois, I think it was, and, you know, did a facility there. And then it went well. And so we looked one more. I think we went to Breeze.
Did you always have, in the beginning, the desire to add on?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, a lot of us small business owners, we just stay, you know, we're content in our hometown.
No, you know, we've always been of the mindset that we're going to keep the pedal mashed until we're done. So back then, keeping the pedal mashed was doing one more facility, or, you know, and then we got to the point where financially, from a risk tolerance standpoint, we could do 2 at a time, you know, or 2, you know, 1 the first half of the year, and then it got to be where we could do 1 a quarter.
Yeah. So how long did it take to go from 1 to 3 or 5?
So from those 2, it probably took another 2 years to get to 4 or 5, okay. And then, you know, another 2 or 3 years to get to 10.
So it's not a fast process.
No,
you know, some people might think that this is, these things just happen fast. It's really not until you get going full steam.
Yeah, when we hit, I mean, we probably really hit a fast stride where we would have 10 to 12 facilities in process, new ones opening up, you know, in our pipeline, probably in about 2020, you know, really post-COVID, probably 2021. I mean, we really mashed it, and we were opening, you know, 10, 12 plus a year. You know, there was 1 a month opening up.
So over the last
the massive rapid growth has happened, you know, over the last 10 years, but even more specifically, like the last 5. Is where we've really added a ton of facilities.
Isn't it amazing? So thinking back to whenever you first had your own, and then you were trying to add your second, isn't it amazing the capacity that our minds can handle? Could you even, like, if you went back in time whenever and even thought about, like, at some point we're going to be having 10 locations going at once, could you even imagine that whenever you were first trying just to get your second one?
No, you really can't. You know, it's something that just, I don't know if harden's the right word, but it is to some. You just kind of grow over time. You learn. I remember the things that I used to get concerned about or stressed about, worried about, whatever word you want to use. And like now, it's just, that's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot to get me worried about something at this point. But we've been blessed in that we've always kind of had the mindset that if you work hard, if you treat people right, good things are going to come to you. And, you know, we are blessed with, we've got, 600-ish employees now. And they're awesome. I mean, they are the lifeblood of this company, and without them, we're nothing. I mean, the therapists make it happen. They're the ones getting the people well, helping people every day, and it's been a blessing to be able to give back. I mean, we do a lot of therapy for free for those that are uninsured or just hit a rough patch or whatever the case may be, had a lapse in their coverage, whatever. We've been blessed to be able to do stuff like that along the way too, throughout all these markets, and really just try to give back in any way that we can. But yeah, so that's kind of the growth story. I mean, it's been a continual, there's never been a time where we weren't growing, but the pace of the growth has increased as we've progressed.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Like I said, I'm always just amazed by how many big businesses have come out of our community, and to, see another one flourishing. And, we had Parker Construction on, 6 months ago or whatever, and hearing Scott talk was really cool about seeing his, how they started, and, now they're, everywhere, and seeing you guys everywhere is just a really cool thing. It's like, the first one was in Highland is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the goal? You have 100 and you have in 13 different states. Where do you think is,
I mean, we don't really for us, it's never been about getting to 100 or getting to 200 or whatever. It's always just been go in every day and, let's be as aggressive as we can. And, the numbers will work out. It'll be what it is in the end. So it isn't we're going to get to 125 and stop, or 150 and stop. I mean, we're going to keep going until we, just don't want to do it anymore.
You're almost, go ahead.
I was gonna say, are you guys like a franchise? Does somebody come and franchise Apex, or do you guys own? How does it? Because I imagine at some point now, maybe the things have shifted to where people are seeking you guys out and asking, how do I open up an Apex network physical therapy versus you guys looking to open one up?
Yeah, great question, and something I left out and can certainly expand upon. So, started the company in 2003. In 2006, or by 2006, we had kind of had all the systems in place, had kind of mastered, a lot of aspects of the business, had our ducks in a row, per se, and Brad was like, if had we known back then what we know now, had we had these systems, all these tools that we've built back then, how much further would we be? And so, the franchising idea originated. And so we started working on that, which was a whole nother endeavor. But we worked hard on that for a year or so. And I think in 2008, we sold our first franchise. And basically they operate as Apex Network. We sold it to our director of business development at the time, and he still owns it. It was in Wood River, Illinois. It's there today and operating. And he since, he has 2 other locations in Bethalto and O'Fallon. So, yeah, we've done that. And, if you look at the composition of the company, of those 100 locations, call it, 60-ish are just Brad and I's corporately. Probably another 20-ish plus are people that we've partnered with that they're technically considered a franchise, but we still have Apex corporate still has the majority ownership in those. And then the other 20 are just individuals that wanted to have their own business, just like buying a McDonald's or Quiznos or whatever. They bought the franchise and they own and operate it wholly and solely. We get a royalty off of that, and that's how it works. So, so we've kind of had that parallel growth path in addition to the corporate stores that we've opened. So,
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess is that what you guys see is the next, that's going to be the pathway for our next 10 or 20 locations, or is it still you guys seeking out and like, this is a great spot, this is meets all our standards, and this is where we'd like to open up the next one?
It's both. We do them in parallel. I would say probably 80% of our growth will still be just us corporately, de novo clinics. We seek out a market. There's a need there. We do our demographic research and, put it through the tools that we've developed to vet the market. And then the other 20% will be that. We're very selective on the franchise thing. It's not like we want to sell as many as we can. It's the opposite of that, honestly. We have a lot of people that are interested, but the fit just isn't there. And it kind of goes back to what I talked about before. Like, some people think, well, these guys are successful. Like, we just throw up the sign and it happens, and, it's all going to be a piece of cake. And that's not really how it is. So we want to make sure that if we sell someone a franchise, that they're going to be successful. It's our brand, and that their head's in the right spot and they want to work hard and everything else, and we try to look out for their livelihood as well. If Brad and I start a facility and we made a bad decision and it goes bad or whatever, we can shoulder that. We'll be fine. We're still going to eat at night. But an individual, if they're putting their house on the line, their savings, their whatever it is, like, we're watching out for their best interest. Like, we don't want that messed up for them. So we're very selective in what market they're going to go to, and, that their strategy's good, that they have good relationships in the community and all that stuff. So because of that, we don't do as much growth on the franchise side. The right people come along, absolutely. And we're always talking to people. We talk to people every week that, and some of our very successful facilities are franchisees, so the concept works. It's just, all the pieces have to be there.
So would you say that instead of necessarily how you guys had these goals of these that you guys were trying to do, you guys more so just had a open mind of opportunity? When the opportunity approaches, you explored it. And if it works, it works. And that's just that's kind of your mindset still today, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got business development people out and about, so they're always bringing us markets that we're, hey, this community is planned here, and, the population's great, and blah, 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 competition, checks all the boxes. So we've got that. And then, we've got the guy that, they've had their 10-year corporate career, and they're just like, I'm tired of that. I want to do something on my own. I want to have some freedom, and, I'm motivated by running my own ship, and those people in most cases reach out to us, or they see us at conferences or whatever. And that's where that dialogue typically starts. And, we're always willing to listen, and, we're opportunistic. We want to make it happen if it makes sense. We've always tried to be flexible in our approach, and I think that's what's helped us get, expand into these other channels, like working with hospitals and working with other practices and stuff like that. So just try to be creative, be open-minded about it, and, go in with the mindset that, I think this can work, and until we prove that it can't, keep moving forward.
Very cool. So now it'd be cool just to, you guys are pretty active, or I see, you guys have done a lot for the community. Is there anything coming up, or what are some of the things that you guys have done here recently, to be involved in Highlands community?
We, as I mentioned, Brad and I both went to high school here in Highland and played football, and stepping back, I don't know, maybe 5 years-ish, Coach Langston came to us, and he was very passionate about getting turf on the field. And, having played there, and experienced what the field is like in the summer when it hasn't rained and whatever, we certainly recognize the need. And at that time, we had committed to helping out, and for whatever reason, and I don't even remember it didn't go through. He was Steve was very dedicated to it, and came back a couple years later and said, "Hey, are you guys still in on helping out with this thing?" And we're like, "Absolutely." And so we made a pledge to help pay for that, and all the pieces fell into place, and we got a new field, and did that, and then needed a new scoreboard. So the board asked if we could assist with that, and we did. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We've helped out a lot with that, and it's a nice experience on a Friday night out there now versus what it used to be. And we've done those things. We've done scoreboards for the softball fields. We've done scoreboards for the middle school, lights for the quarterback club fields out there. Helped with that, and it's just nice to be able to help. We're big supporters of Tunnel to Towers. We support them annually. Big supporters of PenFed, Pets for Vets. If you've got we had a lot of military guys that come back, and they got PTSD and just need a companion. And so these pets, the cause is these pets are rescued. They're taken care of. They get all their shots and vaccinations and everything. And then they're placed with a vet to be their companion. And so there's some amazing stories there that how these dogs have helped people, save them from suicide, and a lot of, it gets pretty deep. But so we do, a lot of those types of things as well. And, now we're spread out, so we can't focus just on Highland, but it's still our home. And
well, you should.
Yeah.
We agree, Jeff. They've done a lot for us here.
Yeah. I don't know. The football field, we got my kids, the Tykes, so he's 6, and they got to play on the field on this past Sunday. And it was really cool to, be out there after it just downpoured for 2 days, full day straight. They had to move the game because the other Collinsville flooded out, so we used Highlands facility, so it was really cool.
Yeah.
And, they thought it was cool to play on the high school field, so.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean we try to give back to the extent that we can, and been fortunate to be able to do some of these things, and it's great.
And you said you also provided the lights for the quarterback club.
Yeah, we pitched in on that. I don't know what what the total cost of all that was, but we helped out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. I know the community appreciates everything that you guys have done, and it was really cool to hear your story, and hopefully some people learned about who you are and kind of how you guys got started. Ryan, you got anything else for me?
No, I think we covered it.
All right,
so, really appreciate it.
Appreciate the
thanks
opportunity.
a lot coming on, Steve, and
Betcha.
we'll see you around.
All right, thanks.